Hello and welcome back, YouTube. So it's still Saturday afternoon, 3:55 p.m. I went through the suitcase that I moved my karaoke computer around in, or used to. I had to dig it up. I had to straight up dig it up because it was oh, John Lennon, nice. Although I think that's an artist that will get me blocked on YouTube. Darn it. Oh, God, I just instinctively, when I pull out of this bar, I want to go south, but I know it's quicker to get out going north. Or I could actually take Oak all the way to 20th Street. I'm starting my journey at a red light. I better turn off the air conditioning. So that was a good time. I finally I got there right as the other DJ was packing up his stuff, and finally got to like talk to him. Like I saw him on Sunday and I saw him on Thursday, but I only just talked to him real briefly, just enough to ask about karaoke and enough to let him know what my songs are, but really not anything more. I mean, I figure I don't know the guy, and plus it was really loud, and like he was like right next to his speakers, so yeah, not conducive to having a conversation. I think I got myself set up in such a way I'll be able to hear people all right. So he's got both his speakers. He sits right up. He's been setting himself up on a table in the corner, and then he's behind the table, like making sort of a DJ booth, and then one speaker on each side of the table, which is a better stop your wow, that guy did not look like he's gonna stop. Speaker on each side, both kind of facing in the same direction. I don't think he was running a stereo mix either. Like, he had two speakers, but a good song for testing to see if you've got your stereo mix correct, if you're playing it from stereo source, is Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne, which he played on Thursday night, shortly after Priscilla and I got there. And at the beginning of that song, when it starts, Ozzy does this like villain laugh, and it pans from side to side, pan from hard left to hard right, and it's the way they mix that. By the way, that taco shop on the right here at 20th Street in Oak is freaking amazing. Just throwing that out there. So if I was on an electric scooter, I'd just go right up and over. That continues on an Oak, and hey, look, more cool pavement. I wish I could remember what this neighborhood was like before this freeway got built, because it used to continue. This used to be a one neighborhood, this and the other side. But yeah, the 51 was built and cut it in half. And 20th Street was like the main drag through here. Anyway, this is the other way to get on the freeway. It works out. Such a bizarre intersection, Cambridge and 20th Street. This is an insanely sharp turn where you just absolutely have to go into both lanes. I mean, maybe my CRX could turn into the right lane, but the Saturn don't do it. So that's how he had his sound. Anyway, the laughter goes back and forth, and then there's like a shaker percussion thing, and it also does that weird back and forth pan from hard right to hard left effect, and sounds amazing if you listen to it on a good pair of headphones. And if you've got a good stereo system, your speakers are placed well, it's also really impressive. But I could hear when that part played that both speakers were only playing the output of one channel. I'm not going to tell the guy how to run his mixer board, but as a sound guy and a music fan, like I noticed details like that. And it was kind of funny because right about that time, Priscilla had commented, "Wow, this sounds really good." I'm like, "Yeah, I mean it's all right. It's a nice full loud sound." I said, but he's running a mono mix of one stereo channel. And she looked at me with a blank look, which tells me she probably doesn't really understand what that means. Which is, that's fine. I mean, shit. It seems like most people these days are listening to mono Bluetooth speakers. So, and are content with that. So, it's almost like stereo is something that's been truly forgot about. And even before that, I mean, most people were listening to cheap stereos where they just put the speakers next to each other and there was no real separation to be heard. Or they're using boom boxes where the speakers are so close to each other that, any separation is kind of lost because the speakers are right next to each other. But I intend to I'll probably run a blended stereo mix tonight. I mean, it's definitely going to be stereo, but I intend to blend the channels a little bit. But I have the speakers at opposite ends of the room. I got one near the front door, next to the ATM, kind of wedged in a space between the ATM and the table, or it should be out of the way. And there's a power plug-in directly below it. That's the thing I got to consider nowadays that I run active speakers. There needs to be a power outlet near where I'm putting the speaker. The other one, I'm putting some move tables around a little bit. I've got myself right in the corner, because he even asked, well, how are you going to set yourself up? And I'm like, I said, I'm going to be in front of the table. He seemed a little bewildered at the concept of a DJ being in front of the table, not behind the table. But when I said, I run a very interactive karaoke show, I interact with the crowd. I pretty much have the computer set up to automate the mixing of the music. So computers behind me. I'm pretty much facing the crowd. It is a pretty small table, so hopefully I can situate everything on there. But I'll figure it out. I always do. I got all three speakers in place. The subwoofer and the two speakers on the tripods, and I got the tables kind of where I need them. He was actually cool enough. He left his HDMI cable for me. So it's really difficult to plug it into it the way it's mounted. So I really appreciate that. So I got that sitting where I'll be able to plug into it. I do want to try to set up on more than one TV. I don't know. Cross that bridge when I come to it. And, within the next couple of hours, I'm heading home right now to. It's got another email from Indeed.com about a warehouse worker wanted. At some point, I just need to sit down and just fill out a shit ton of applications again, because all the places I've applied to, it feels, are just taking way too damn long to get me actually working. And some of those places, when they finally contact me to have me work, I'm going to be like, look, I needed work when I had that interview 2 weeks ago. I already got something else now. There's no way I'm going to be able to take over all those jobs, but I'm just gonna keep applying for everything. Somebody's gonna get me to work, and if I can get some karaoke gigs and revive my karaoke hosting business in the meantime, then even better. I'm just hearing Weird Al Yankovic fat right now. All right, this guy isn't paying attention to what lane he should be in. Fun fact about the Weird Al Yankovic fat video, it was actually shot in the studio in the same set where Michael Jackson shot the Bad video, and Michael Jackson made that happen because Michael Jackson actually was a huge Weird Al Yankovic fan, which I think is insanely cool. But yeah, I can't hear Bad anymore without hearing fat. That's just where my head goes. So anyway, on my way home, I'm going to start packing stuff up. I've been working on music while I'm also working on trying to get the next chapter of my vlog uploaded. I'm up to July 1st with it, so over a week behind. Go me. Well, exactly a week behind, actually. But the stabilization process in Obamaphone 3 is kind of a time-consuming thing, and then the whole thing of that guy's doing some creative driving. The whole thing of uploading it to the cloud and then downloading it to the iPhone to edit it. It's what it is. I mean, I'm gonna keep doing it, but obviously working on my karaoke show takes precedence. But if I can have the phones working on that while I'm also working on adding music videos, then that's cool, getting stuff done. I added, I mentioned yesterday that I added the video for Kanye West Through the Wire. I'm still not 100% sure on that aspect ratio thing, but I'm looking at it a little closer. I don't know that I'd be able to, it's so seamlessly edited, I don't know I'd be able to edit that, but feeling like I really missed the boat by never watching that video before. That video is absolutely amazing. And of course, since it was done by the same guy who did the documentary Genius, which I watched been watching that with Priscilla. It was kind of neat how you could see a lot of the footage that was used in that video is also footage that was used in the Genius Kanye West documentary. That's pretty neat. Anyway, I got that done, and while I was on YouTube and I did a search for Through the Wire, it also came up with a really nice upscaled HD version of the Shaka Khan video for Through the Fire. So of course I had to add that. And then I think I also put away a video for the weekend for Die For You, which I mentioned on my vlog months ago. Like, it came on the radio and I had mentioned that it's like, wow, I love this song. I'm hearing this on the radio. It's obviously The Weeknd, but what is the song? And yeah, I'd like went in right after that and downloaded it. And I think I converted it, but I never got around to put the file away. So I finally did that. Anyway, go in and start putting that stuff away. Oh, and let's not forget this, because it's the sun is vicious today and it's hot as hell out. Oh, check the iPhone. 110 right now. Oh no, it went from 110 to 109. Anyway, it's hot as hell. It really is. There's a guy doing something with the lawn right now. Check this out. He's like flooding it. He's got both hoses on. He's managed to flood it as if the irrigation is on. And he's like digging up big chunks of the dirt. I don't know what the hell he's doing with it. I certainly don't appreciate the backyard being flooded, though. I don't like walking across flood trying to get to my thing. And especially weird thing is that the hoses have been capped off to where they're not usable, which has been inconvenient for me because I haven't been able to, go outside and spray out the cat box when I clean it. And it was my understanding the reason that was done is because the landlord felt water was being wasted. And he's flooding the water, or he's using the hoses to flood the backyard when we have irrigation that comes through at a given time. Like, whatever he's doing, why can't he do it when the irrigation is on? Like, I get it, it's generally at night, but that water stays in place for quite a while. I don't know. I wonder if he's even supposed to be doing that, or if Juan has any idea like how much water is being pissed away right now. Anyway, seems super weird to me. So it's Saturday, July 8th, 2023. 6:48 p.m. I just got a message from Priscilla reminding me I left my charger cord. I'm well aware of it. Saying she knocked out right after I left and just woke up. So much for doing laundry. Wow. Okay. I guess that's how she spent her day. Good times. So I'm heading back. I spent a lot more time at home this trip than I intended to. And granted, some of it was, productive, working on stuff on my karaoke computer, adding additional music videos, and working on karaoke files. I finally finished the one for Paul McCartney and Wings, 1985, and filed the one that I did all the work on that I ended up not using, where that sort of thing goes, and then filed the, replaced the spot in the library with the new one from karaoke version, which is really good, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned it on the vlog, but I sang it last weekend, or maybe it was the weekend before. Anyway, I sang it over on Kimmy's system over at Wander Inn, and thoroughly loved singing that, and got a really good crowd response for a really deep track from Paul McCartney that the average person wouldn't know. That was fun. I don't know if I'll sing that tonight. I don't know what I'll sing tonight, to be honest. I'm trying to please the crowd tonight, so it's not going to be about what I want to sing. It's going to be about what I think is going to get the crowd going. Wow, there is a very attractive woman on the sidewalk walking the direction that I'm not going, in really short shorts. Absolutely perfect legs. Oh, that was distracting. Where was I? Dreaming about the thighs going that way. Oh, and getting on the freeway in the wrong direction. Anyway, yeah, so I worked on that and upgraded my version of Lighter Shade of Pale by Procol Harum, which is, I bought that file years ago, and I know I've sang from the new file, and it kind of, like, it was going through incoming files, and I saw that, and I was kind of taken aback that I never finished that, because I remember starting on that at one point in time. I thoroughly remember starting on that, but obviously I didn't finish it. Anyway, I got it finished today, as much as I can get finished with the current setup. I stopped updating my Microsoft Access database ages ago. I don't have an external backup right now, so yeah, as much as I can do is just, filing this stuff into the backup directory, which is on a different hard drive than the library, and putting it in the library, moving the old file, which was Music Maestro. And to be honest, as bad as some Music Maestro versions are, that one wasn't awful, but the karaoke version was notably better. And I don't know, I guess it's just one of those songs that I really like singing, and I remember singing it one time at my show and just not being happy with my Music Maestro version, which probably came from the Serial Killer collection that I started my karaoke with, the stuff left behind by Corey Morris at Fat Cats. But I think that's how old that file is, how long it's been in my system. But at any rate, I just recall singing it at one point in time and not being that thrilled with the background, and looking to see if karaoke version had a version, and they did, and I liked the sample of it. So anyway, I know I've sang that on my system before, but yeah, went ahead and previewed the whole thing and filed it away, which of course makes no changes to my Songbook DB database. Now that would involve quite a few changes in the Access 97 database, which I wonder if I'll ever start maintaining that again. At this point, it's been so many years since I've been updating that if I ever do go to try to, put all the updates that were done since then, and I kind of think I have a way of going through it, but when I do, that's going to be a task, and God knows when I'll ever have the time for that much karaoke work, especially as hit and miss my karaoke gigs have been since October of 2019. So, God, it's hard to believe it used to be something I did full time and made decent money at. It's just crappy as it's been for so many years. But I still do enjoy working on the music library, and so that was kind of fun to finish that. Sitting on 3 new songs from Primus, also purchased from karaoke version, and I did the file conversion on those, and by that I mean converting the MP4 file that I download from karaoke version over to an AVI, a DivX AVI file, which is what I use for hosting. And when I do that, I also make an adjustment for the audio level. So I don't know if I'll work on those next, but hey, good to know those are ready to play should somebody want to sing them, even though they're not. It's going to take some more time to get them databased. I did get one song added to the karaoke database on Songbook DB, and that one I converted as well. It's just in a download, not converted yet, but I added, and God knows who's ever going to sing this, but I added Paul Simon, Under African Skies, which is a song off the album Graceland. If you've never heard the Paul Simon album Graceland, that's a pretty essential album. I've never heard that. Listen to that. Seriously, just stream the whole damn thing. I'm sure the album can be streamed on YouTube if you don't have any other streaming service for that sort of thing. That was a big comeback album for Paul Simon. His career had pretty much faded into obscurity years before then. And he took a trip to Africa and discovered African music and hired a bunch of African studio musicians to help him complete that album. And it's interesting, I mean, it's very much Paul Simon, but it has just the first album he did with huge elements of traditional African music, and it's phenomenal. And it had one huge smash hit that everybody pretty much knows, and that's You Can Call Me Al. Which of course has a lot less African elements than the rest of the album, you know, because that was like the mainstream radio hit. And of course that had an amazing video with Chevy Chase in it being totally obnoxious. So yeah, that was a monster hit. The rest of the album, I know it had some minor hits, but the album itself, like Graceland, was just all about the album itself. If all you listened to back then was You Can Call Me Al, you missed a really landmark album. And so I'm trying to find like every song from that album karaoke. Today I had it Under African Skies. And while I was at it, I noticed that I do already have tracks for Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes and The Boy in the Bubble. So, yeah. And I'm sure I probably get some more off that album, but who knows? Maybe I'll do some Paul Simon tonight. I'm kind of feeling that. Although I'm doubtful I'm going to have a Paul Simon kind of crowd tonight. Anyway, got that added. But of course, the biggest time waster is just trying to get another chapter of the vlog posted. And now I'm in a corundum where I've really shot. Like, I'm a week behind on uploading stuff. I mean, it's Saturday, and I just got a video uploaded, which is everything I shot on Saturday. A week ago Saturday. It pretty much consists, if you haven't seen it yet, it pretty much consists of me walking from Priscilla's place, because I stayed the night at Priscilla's place, to my place, but kind of taking the scenic route to see what I could see of the destruction caused by the fire from the day before. And of course, I was on the phone to part of it, so the best part I should have probably caught on video, I didn't. So yeah, go me. And it was so damn hot outside that I didn't feel like backtracking to shoot video of it. But yeah, and I got some super blurry footage because I was too far away of some homeless guy with what looked like to be a stolen girl's bicycle digging in a dumpster directly in front of somebody's house. That was classy. Definitely a Phoenix moment there. Yeah, I went to QT, walked home on that video. I mean, you can watch that video. I don't know why I'm describing that video, but anyway. But the time-consuming thing is it ended up being 45 minutes, and it's really problematic with the iPhone 6s Plus with iMovie. Like, every time I do a video that's longer than about 20 minutes, and that one was about 45 minutes, I wanted to get it all together. Like, that's everything for Saturday. There's really no reason. It was all just basically the journey to Priscilla's place, to my house, and then the drive back there. So it just made sense to put that all into one video. But yeah, it clocked in at about 44 minutes. And yeah, once I get into that long, I end up having a lot of issues with iMovie telling me I don't, even though I have plenty of space. For some reason, iMovie can't see all the space that is available on the phone. So even though I've got plenty of space, it can't see it, and it's telling me I've got to delete gigs of stuff, sometimes 2-3 gigs of stuff. And the frustrating thing on that is, as I mentioned before, iMovie has to be the foreground app, and it's time consuming while it exports. And then as it's exporting, like it, as it was exporting, it, like, I was working on music. I had it on the charger in my bedroom, and I'm working on music in the living room. But I keep coming back into the bedroom to check on it, and it looks like it's almost done. And then I see a pop-up, and I'm thinking it's done, and it's the pop-up that says there wasn't enough space to export. And I think what iMovie does when it does that is I think all the stuff that it didn't export which could be several gigs, because iMovie is just super inefficient in the way it outputs stuff. As I mentioned before, I can have 2 1 gig files, and I put them together, and my output file ends up being 3.5 gigs. So, you know, when does 1 plus 1 equal 3.5? When you're using iMovie. Yeah, basically. So yeah, that kind of thing. But it ended up wasting a lot of time. And I mean, right now, I should really be at the bar. I should. Getting friendly with the people that are there and setting stuff up and troubleshooting any issues I might have. And I wasn't. So, because I'm sitting there just dealing with stupid bullshit on a stupid vlog that hardly anybody really watches. But I mean, I'm enjoying that I keep in the diary, but I'm just like, I don't know, questioning the time going into it at this point. And not the time recording it while I'm driving. Like, that's great. It's the time that's going to editing, and I need to figure out some way to streamline that process. Anyway, ready for the show. Got everything packed up. I haven't tested everything, but pretty much everything should be fine. I mean, I went through it, and it's everything's more or less, you know, as I left it after my last Christmas party that I did. So anyway, I think I should be good to go with everything tonight. So I'm here. Let's do this.